27 years of marriage begins with this inner work. The relationship you're craving doesn't start with them, it actually starts with you. Today, we're talking about what actually creates a lasting, connected relationship, how the way that you relate to yourself shapes how you communicate, love, and respond to your partner and or your children or anyone you're in a long-term relationship with, and how unhealed patterns can show up as conflict, misunderstandings, how inner work builds emotional safety, honesty, and real presence in a relationship. A lasting relationship isn't found. It's created through who you choose to become. Relationships, topic of the day. Long-term relationships, we can't live with them, we can't live without them, but we all want them desperately. Long-term relationships can be so challenging for so many reasons, but today I want to leave you with this episode feeling empowered and inspired to know that you can become the person you need to be in the relationship. I have been married for 24 years. I've been in a relationship with Jamie, my husband, for 27 years. So you can imagine how many questions I receive on the daily asking how to create and sustain an intimate and connected relationship. Between my own relationship and working with clients all day long around their intimate relationships, I know some things about healthy, close, connected, and thriving relationships. So first, I'm going to share a few of my own relationship practices that when you begin to practice in your life will ensure that you become the person that you are meant to be in your relationship. When Jamie and I decided to get married, we decided that each one of us was going to marry our own truest, highest, most authentic self first and foremost, my highest self. Who am I to become? Who do I want to bring in to this relationship? So when I bring in the best version of me, and Jamie being married to his highest self first and foremost, we each bring in the highest version of ourselves, and therefore we free our relationship to be and become the highest version that the relationship is meant to be. Our relationship then becomes a relationship where we are in service to each other rather than looking to each other for something, rather than looking to each other to be something. We're creating a relationship from the inside out. We're not looking to each other to complete us, to be something, to fill our needs. And I chose not to put the relationship first, to marry myself first. I'm the one that I'm going to be in relationship for the rest of my life. You're the one that you're going to be in relationship with for the rest of your life. And when you choose to do something as radical as marrying yourself first and foremost, it's going to ensure that you bring your highest self into the relationship. It doesn't mean that your relationship isn't going to go through ups and downs, but it absolutely means that you are going to be bringing the best of yourself and free the best and highest vision of your relationship to be created and manifested. And that brings me to my second practice. I commit myself to doing 98% of the work within myself. I call it the 98%. And I am committed and dedicated, and I've practiced this with not only myself, but all of my clients, all of the couples I work with. When you commit to doing 98% of the work of your relationship inwardly within yourself, then when you come back into your relationship, again, you're bringing the best, the highest version, the most healed version, the most transformed version of yourself comes back in to the relationships. It is the most freeing feeling. It's an actual way of life. the 98% that you can embark upon to ensure that you are becoming the person that you are meant to be in the relationship. And the third practice that I would share with you is to have a marriage mantra, something that is at the heart of your relationship that speaks to you, that is short, that is succinct, that you can carry with you, that you can remember, that is here to remind you to bring out that next version of who you're meant to become in your relationship. It may change over time and in different chapters of your relationship. I'm going to share with you mine now. Mine has never changed, but it's cool. Yours could change. Mine might change tomorrow. But early on in my relationship, when we moved from dating to getting more serious to choosing to get married, my marriage mantra is I didn't get married to stop dating. Jamie and I were first and foremost friends. We met as friends, and there's an energy when we're friends with someone. There's an energy when we're friends. We do bring the best to our friendships. We want the best for our friends. Often that energy can change when we move into marriage. I've seen partners who, by the time their children leave home, they're just roommates. They haven't grown together. And I never wanted to be sitting across from Jamie with nothing to say to him. So culture tells us to make the relationship about the other person. But what happens is that most often, especially us women, we end up losing our connections with ourselves inwardly. And I never wanted to experience that. I wanted to keep the friendship alive, our spiritual partnership alive, our love alive. I wanted to keep that energy alive. Everyone always said to us, like, oh, just wait until the honeymoon is over. And of course, a relationship is going to go through ups and downs. Friendships go through ups and downs, different chapters, different ideations, of course. And yet, why would I want to be with someone? Why would you want to embark upon a long-term relationship that is doomed from the beginning to say, the spark? Why would we want to think that that goes away once the physical form of something changes? It is more about the energy, the spirit of what I want to bring into my relationship, what we want to create together in the relationship. Because long-term relationships is built on how you show up, not just who you're with. And we've all been so conditioned to look externally at the other person, to look at how they are showing up, how they are not showing up, what they are doing, what they are not doing. Once we get in a relationship, we're looking outside, we're looking at them, we're looking at the other. And a long-term relationship, though, is built upon how you show up, not just who you are with. So the way that you relate to yourself shapes how you're going to communicate, love, and respond to your partner, your children, or anyone that you're in a long-term relationship. And more often than not, we're not even aware of how we show up. We're not even aware of how we're relating to ourselves in a relationship. Today, just simply become aware of how you are treating the other person. Become aware of the energy that you are bringing in to your relationship. Watch yourself. Listen to yourself today. You know, two different people can say, "Did you take the trash out?" And someone else can say, "Did you take the trash out?" It's not the words, it's the energy, it's the implication, it's the energy with which those words are riding upon. This is going to be a game changer for you. When I met Jamie, I started listening from the get-go to how am I showing up, and it really assists me to take dominion, to show up in the way and become the woman that I seek to be in the relationship. Would you want to date yourself today? That is a question I ask myself often. I ask my clients, who do you want to be in the relationship? Who do you want to bring? Who do you want to become into your relationship? So I'm going to share another true story from my marriage. Our son, Will, who is now in college, was pretty young at the time. And one morning, we're in the kitchen, Jamie's making oatmeal, and I walk in and I'm telling a story. And when I get excited about stories, I'm like talking louder and louder and faster. And I'm getting more and more animated and really excited about telling him this story. In the middle of the story, he kind of interrupted me. And right when he interrupted me, I stopped and I was like, hey, you're interrupting me. I'm trying to tell you the story. And without missing a beat, he then said, you know, you used to call it finishing our sentences, and now you're calling it interrupting you. And it stopped me in my tracks. We started laughing, but it was actually a real example that stayed with me because at the beginning, when we were dating, I loved that he finished my sentences. And then suddenly, just because it's 3 years later, 5 years later, I'm judging him for interrupting me when he was right there with me. So, this is just a small example to have you become aware today of how you're showing up in your relationship. You know, we all get into patterns, we are all run by patterns until we are not. And you have probably found patterns within yourself and you bring those patterns into your relationships. We all do it. Today is an opportunity for you to listen, for you to watch. What are the patterns that I am bringing in to my relationship? And who is the woman, who is the individual that really I want to be, that I'm seeking to become? Who is the woman that really wants to show up her highest, her best in this relationship? And therefore, what tweaks, what am I needing to shift and change within me? We always look at that as a negative. Why am I the one that has to shift and change? But I want to bring the best of myself into my life and certainly into my relationships with my loved ones. And I know that you do too, or you wouldn't be listening to this episode. So, relationships are mirrors. Relationships are meant to reflect you back to you. So if you aren't experiencing the connection that you are seeking with your partner in your relationship, you want to start by looking in the mirror. It's not to judge yourself, it's to observe yourself, to witness yourself, and therefore transform and become the highest, the greatest, the best version of you that you are here to be. What you take with you is the highest and the best and the greatest version of yourself. So it's a win-win. When you're always looking at your partner and what your partner isn't doing and hasn't done and won't do or keeps doing, there's a reflection back to you. How are you being with yourself? Because I guarantee you, I used to do this. I used to be an expert, a master at seeing what Jamie wasn't doing, what he could be doing, what he still wasn't doing, what he was meant to be doing. I was an expert on all things Jamie Lula. I needed to become an expert at all things Suzi Lula, you know? And it points to your relationship with yourself. Because when you are consistently looking at what your partner isn't, hasn't, doesn't do, then that's a reflection that the way you're treating yourself is that you're looking at what you haven't done, how you are less than, how you are not enough. The shame, the guilt, any of the things that you're carrying, those are ways that you are treating yourself. And so if you find yourself judging your partner, that's okay. Have compassion, look through compassionate eyes, filters, lenses, look at yourself through compassion. But if you're judging your partner, let it be also a mirror that means you're judging yourself. And set a commitment, set an intention to shift the way that you are treating yourself, because the kinder you become with yourself, the deeper the connection you're going to experience with your partner. You cannot take in more good in your relationship than you feel about yourself. If you're interested in how good can your relationship be, how much good you can experience in your relationship, then you have to ask yourself, you have to look at how are you being with yourself. You cannot experience an amazing relationship if you are not able to receive and accept and experience the good in you. It's not easy necessarily to do, but it's a simple equation. Make that your question in life. How much good can I see in myself? How much good am I willing to experience within myself? And how much good can I receive in my life? In my book, The Motherhood Evolution, one of my chapters is actually entitled, How Good Can Your Life Be? This is a takeaway from today's episode. Begin to ask yourself, how good can my life be? How large is my container of good? You want to practice this every day. How much good can your consciousness receive? How much good can your consciousness hold? Do you find yourself gossipy? Do you find yourself embarking in drama and gossip and talking about what isn't working? How long can you hold in how good can your life be? Now, in long term relationships, it's true, your unhealed patterns are going to show up. That's part of what is meant for long term relationships. The question becomes, how do you relate to your unhealed patterns? Because if you aren't able to relate in a healthy way with your unhealed patterns, then when those unhealed patterns and your unhealed issues show up in your relationship, it can cause conflict, it can cause misunderstandings, it will cause distance. It's going to create all sorts of distance in your relationship to the degree that you learn how to be with your unhealed patterns. This is how a relationship is meant to be. These unhealed patterns are the opportunity for you to heal what is within you. You know, we all bring in baggage. We all bring in baggage into our relationships. We're just taught to get really familiar with our partner's baggage. We probably know our partner's baggage better than we know our own baggage. And all I'm suggesting is that to the degree that you are willing to unpack your own luggage that you are carrying into your relationship, you will free your relationship from the unhealthy conflicts and distance that happen. So most of us were not modeled healthy, connected relationships where each person is taking their own personal responsibility in the relationship. We're not typically modeled a relationship between two healthy adults where each individual is cleaning up their side of the street. Most of us did not experience parents working through conflict. Most of us did not experience parents repairing their relationship once a conflict happens, because of course conflict, misunderstandings, that is part of relationships. So we are taught today that conflict is to be avoided or to outpower each other. And that's why I do so much work assisting people to work with yourself on the emotional level. Because when unhealed and unprocessed issues come up through you, you want to be the one who starts to say, bring it on. This is here not to be avoided. It's here to assist me to become the next version of myself. And so now, after I've practiced for so many years, for so long, when my own unhealed issues come to the surface in my relationship, I really do say, bring it on. Because I know this is my opportunity to release, to let go, to shed this luggage, this energy that I've been carrying that, first of all, was never mine to pick up in the first place. It's never was yours to pick up in the first place. You're just carrying extra baggage that when the unhealed material comes up, it's your invitation to learn how to work with yourself. And it is an art and it is a practice to learn how to work with yourself. But inevitably, what happens is when you do, you learn how to be present with the darker places, the uncomfortable places. You may want to begin to ask yourself questions like, what am I carrying from my past that is getting in the way of my relationship today? Begin to ask yourself that question. Begin to ask yourself, who am I meant to be when this part of me is healed? When the past hurting parts of me need to be healed. And I choose to spend time in self reflection, healing those places. What does the healed version of me look like? What does the free version of me look like? Become familiar with that part of you, because that's the part that's really longing to emerge and to really come forward in your relationship. So if you're aware of areas that are unresolved within you, and they are getting in the way of the relationship that you really seek to create, you can look up my course, The Emotional Messenger System. I have so many courses on relationships, transforming your relationships, the undefended heart. If you want to dive deeper into really how to work with yourself on your unhealed issues that you're bringing into the relationship, please go to my website. I will also be doing many more episodes that dive in and dig in to really assist you with how to be present with this unhealed material. But today, the most important thing that you can do in your relationship is to become aware. This is something that I'm carrying in. This is something that's been unresolved, and it's affecting my relationship. And so I want to make a U-turn. I want to turn within with such compassion and say, it's so understandable. We all do it. I just want to take responsibility for it. Because when you begin to do this inner work, you build safety both within yourself and in your relationship. You build honesty within your relationship. You're able to be more present, more open. When you do the inner work to heal your own reactivity, then you begin to bring yourself into your relationship with emotional equanimity. When you learn how to regulate your nervous system, you come in with a regulated nervous system. And that's the greatest thing and the best thing that you can do for yourself and your partner. And when you take responsibility for your inner world, you create freedom and you create deeper connection together with your partner. When you choose to go into your relationship and share what you're learning about yourself, I promise you, you are going to be received. You are going to be met. You are going to literally feel the energy in your partner soften. You are going to literally feel the energy of your partner move towards you. When you judge another individual, you create distance, even if it's energetic distance. When you come with your own learnings, your own vulnerabilities, what it is that are your visions for yourself and who you want to become in the relationship, I promise you, you will literally see the energy of your partner melt. You will change dramatically the energy in your relationship. And I've seen it happen over and over again, that this can happen much more easily than you could possibly even imagine. Try it tonight and see what happens, because when your inner world changes, your outer world must change with it. But it feels so good to say, how good can my life be? I want for you to create the relationship that your innermost authentic, soul-guided, heart-centered self is here to create and live. And now I'm going to take you through a guided process so that you can experience, integrate, and embody this in your body before you leave this episode today. Now, if you want to go deeper, if you have specific questions for me around relationships, please reach out. Let me know what you'd like to hear more about. I will answer your questions. I'll create more topics. Create your own episode. Drop me an email, DM me. Let me know about the topics that you want to hear about in your relationships, and I will create more of them. But in the meantime, let's do a guided process so that you can embody within you, you can experience within you the you that is ready to come out to become in your relationship. So if it works for you, just gently close your eyes and let's slow everything down. Let's become aware of your breath. Just feel yourself inhale and feel yourself exhale. Feel yourself inhale. You might sigh when you exhale. I've shared a lot. Now it's time for you to go within you, for you to enter your own heart space, your own soul space, your own energy. And as you begin to take some nice, slow, deep breaths in, turn towards the highest vision of your relationship, the relationship that you are here to create, the one that you are seeking. You may want to place your hand on your heart just as a way of saying to yourself, I'm right here. This is an inner time. This is your inner space. This is your inner sanctuary. You are safe here. This is a private time, a confidential time between you and your heart. You and the relationship that you are here to create, and you and the you that you are here to become in your relationship. So just begin to set an intention for your relationship. My intention for my relationship is. And when you hear that, now you begin to set an intention for yourself in your relationship. My intention for myself in my relationship is. And just become still and listen. And as you listen, as you begin to hear your intentions, your deeper heart's desires for yourself, for your relationship, begin to ask, what is the highest vision? What is the highest version of my relationship? What does it look like? What does it feel like when I am living in the highest vision and the highest version of my relationship? And now, as you begin to feel that there's a high vision, there's a high calling, or you wouldn't be here. And as you become aware of the high vision, the high version, the high calling of your relationship, now you begin to take your eyes off of your relationship and begin to place your eyes inwardly upon yourself in your relationship. In order to create the highest version of your relationship, you have to create the highest version of yourself in your relationship. Who do you need to become in order to create this high vision, this high version of your relationship? There's someone in you. There's an energy in you. There's an aspect in you. There's a place within you. It's your most authentic self. Set her free. Let her start emerging. Who are you to become in your relationship? Who are you to show up as? Who is the next version of you? When you step out of your patterns, when you step out of the small ways that you identify yourself, who steps out? Who is that free self? Who is that unencumbered self? There is some guidance for you in how you are meant to be showing up in your relationship. Will you be obedient to the guidance, to the wisdom, to the promptings? You are meant to become the next version of yourself. And what that means is that you need to die to the current version of yourself. The current patterns, the current you needs to die in order for the next version of you to be birthed. Are you willing to let go of all that you're carrying that is too heavy for this relationship? It was never yours to carry in the first place, and it certainly isn't meant to be carried into this relationship. And as you put those burdens down, and as you say thank you to this old version of yourself, and you let her go, and you welcome this next version of you. What is the highest identity of yourself in this relationship? What does she look like? What does she feel like? How does she act? Who's emerging? See her, welcome her, embrace her. What does she look like? What does he feel like? How do you act? What are your values And how do you see yourself being true to your values? Let yourself feel how good it feels to be next version of you. It feels so good. There is a high version of you and who you are to become in your relationship, because there's a high vision for your relationship. And for that high vision to manifest, you must become that container. You must receive more good. You must see more good about yourself so that you can carry more good into your relationship. Are you willing? Can you embrace her? Can you set her free today? I want you to create the relationship that your inner, most authentic, heart-centered, soul-guided self is here to create. So just say to her, I set you free today. You are free. You are free to receive all the good that you can possibly imagine and bring it into this relationship. Listen for any messages. Thank yourself. Acknowledge yourself for turning within, for taking these few moments within. And whenever you feel ready, gently open your eyes. And as you are setting yourself free today, setting the next version of yourself free today, I want you to set your relationship free, and then I want you to let me know how it goes. I really love hearing from you. I love hearing about the way that you are growing, what you're working through. And remember the question of the day: how are you showing up in your relationship, and how does that reflect your relationship with yourself? And if you feel called to go deeper, there are resources below where we can continue this work together. Go to my website, look at my courses, choose the one that feels right for you, and then let me know how it goes. If this supported you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and leave a review. And most importantly, share it with a friend who you would like to see create the relationship of his or her dreams. So much more to come around relationships this week. Give yourself permission to thrive. And remember, it all begins within. Peace and love.